I've got so many messages I need to catch up on. Um, all right, cool. Well, hey, we are back again. Everybody's gonna get sick of hearing my voice. Um, but yeah, so we've got Matthew Stewart. Do you go by Matthew or Matt?
Matt.
Okay, cool. So we got Matt Stewart on the line with us. He's worked for Tops and right. I think I pulled one of your cards recently if I remember, but and you're up in Canada, yeah? So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, when you started drawing and stuff like that.
All right. So yeah, I live in Canada. I live in Alberta, city called Calgary. It's on the east side of the Rockies. I've lived here for about a little over 10 years, and I moved around all over the place. But yeah, I've worked for Tops and other trading card companies since 2014. Before that, I did like scientific illustrations and a bunch of other stuff. Um, yeah. It's always weird. Like, you put on a spot. It's like, okay, put everything in a little nutshell. Like, who you are and what you do. And I'm like, yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
um,
that's always hard
no,
to come up with that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, so you said you started working with Topps, I think, in 2014. What was the first set that you did for Star Wars
Uh,
or any set really?
yeah, I started with Revenge of the Sith Wide Vision. Man, I love those wide vision cards, and I know so many other artists that worked on those. Like, we wish that like it would come back because that canvas was so nice to work on, nice and big. Yeah, I've worked on a bunch of Star Wars sets since then, and I've also worked on the sports stuff for Tops, like all the baseball stuff, UFC, and Mars Attacks, and Stranger Things, and yeah, a bunch of different sets for Tops, and also like other companies and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. Now I think you said Revenge of the Sith Wide Vision was your first. What's the most recent set that you worked on for Star Wars?
Um, what would it be? What is it? Rise of Skywalker Series 2 is coming out. Worked on that one.
Yep.
Chrome, which is coming out, worked on that one. Holocron, which is coming out soon. Before that, I did Skywalker Series 1 and Women of Star Wars. Yeah, pretty much
Okay.
everything. I didn't work on like Masterworks last year. There's like a couple of sets that I missed out.
Okay.
But yeah, for the most
Yeah,
part,
well, I mean they were pumping them through a lot in the fall.
mm,
It was like a set every 2 weeks, so I can imagine that would have been difficult to keep up on. Um, Now, do you have like a favorite set that you've worked on over the years? You've been around for quite a while. Is there a set that you've enjoyed doing the most?
um, like artistically, I'd have to say like whatever my last set is the one that I'm most happiest with because I'm always happiest with the last thing that I drew as opposed to like the older drawings. I look at them and like, I love it when like someone says, "Hey, I really love this drawing that I did," um, but when I look at it, I'm like, "Oh man, I should have done this," or like, "Oh, why did I, use this medium and not that medium?" Or I could have drawn that face, differently or better or whatever. So I always look back and like, what's the last set that I did, and that's the set that I'm most proud of.
Yeah, yeah. So you have been around for a long time, which is kind of cool because, can you speak to how your artwork has progressed or changed since your first set to the most recent?
Yeah, I think it's really changed. I still do some of the same things of like I first started off with drawing them in a very comic booky style. I would just pencil it, ink it, and then apply Copic markers to them. And then that gradually morphed into using other mediums of using pencil crayons over top of the Copics, and then using acrylics, and now I'm using a lot of traditional gouache with pencil crayons over top. So like the 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 mediums I use has really changed over the years. I still go back to using like brushed ink and comic because I love comic books. I love that style. So I'll, like in the sets that I do, I'll always do like 5 or 10 cards in one style or one medium, and then 5 or 10 cards in another style and medium. But the gamut of styles and mediums that I use has really grown over the years, and a lot of that is actually due to being influenced by other sketch card artists. Carlos is a huge influence of I think most of the sketch card artists in the Star Wars world. So whenever he's like, "Oh, I'm using gouache or this or that," like everyone's like, "Huh, I should try that out," So
Well, hey, he's certainly a talented artist to get some ideas from. Um, Now, kind of getting away from a little bit of the, Matt Stewart, the artist, but more Matt Stewart, the person. I would imagine if you draw for Star Wars that you love Star Wars. Do you have like a favorite movie, favorite character? How did you, tell us a little bit about you and your relationship to Star Wars?
um, like I was on a podcast yesterday, answering the same question, and I find like the whole like favorite thing, like it's impossible for me to pick one. I just have like a whole bucket full of favorites. And for Star Wars, it's like I love all the movies. I love all the TV shows. I'm watching the new Clone Wars. Watched the latest episode yesterday. I'm not going to say any spoilers, but like I just freaking love all of it. I love all the characters too. So working on a Star Wars set, it's so much fun for me because I'll be like, oh, I'll just go through the Rolodex of characters. I love drawing them all. I definitely do have like some that I gravitate towards a little bit more than others, like Sabine and Ahsoka, Boba Fett, really just the cast of Mandalorians, but also Darth Vader and all these other characters. And I've loved Star Wars ever since I was a kid. Like, so I grew up in the '80s, and you wouldn't always get access to like a VHS copy, and it was after the movies already came out in theaters. So I'd catch it on TV, and for some reason I would always catch the trash compactor scene on TV. And so that scene always resonates to me. I love the little monster with the eyeball that pops up. But yeah, and then like throughout my life with Star Wars, like even wearing a Star Wars T-shirt. When my wife and I go to Disneyland, Star Tours is always attraction we ride multiple times.
hmm Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel like you did some like research on me or something because I like Ahsoka, I like Sabine, I like Vader. I'm right there with you. I noticed your pops in the background. Um, of Sabine and Ahsoka, and I think it looks like maybe another Ahsoka up top or something. But those are certainly
Stan
characters that
Lee,
I enjoy.
actually.
Who is it?
Stan Lee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I love all those characters as well. It's hard to find Sabine cards. She doesn't get drawn that often from what I've seen, and specifically, she doesn't seem to get drawn a lot with her helmet on. A lot of
Mm.
times, it's her without her helmet, either holding the helmet or just without the helmet. Um, so I always like to try to look for cards with her helmet on, which is difficult to find. But that's why I enjoyed the Women of Star Wars set, because there's a lot more options out there. They're just not pulled yet. Um, so, do you have any artwork hanging around that you can show us?
Um, yeah. Like got like a sketch cards artist first. It's from
Oh yeah.
Cryptozoics. Do you see that? Shazam from that set.
Kevin West
Uh,
is asking if you listen to Star Wars scores or watch the movies while you draw.
uh, oh yeah, for like watching, absolutely. Yeah, every so often I'll listen to the scores. For movies, like I go through like fits of like I'll marathon this or that. I need to do a marathon of Rebels. I haven't done that one for a while. Um, right now, I'm actually watching Seinfeld, and then after I finish off Seinfeld, I'll probably be doing the Clone Wars and Rebels marathon because the show will be ending. But yeah, I watch the
hmm
movies probably twice a year and I always include it's the one movie, Fanboys, in there. I think that's got to be in
Oh, okay.
the marathon watching in Star Wars because it's just like a love story to the fandom. I don't know
Hmm.
if you've seen it.
I actually haven't, no. But you're the second person who mentioned something about it today, so I'm gonna have to go check it out. So, now, what am I looking for? Yeah, Kevin's saying fanboys again. Raymond said he loves your work, loves your style, says your style is unique. Can you tell us a little bit about your style?
Yeah, like I definitely have some influences that I try and work into what I'm doing, and it's kind of like um, learning from other people of how to tackle a challenge of either it's how to work on a paper or how to depict a background or mood or composition. So I look to a number of other sketch card artists and also comic book artists that I love, like David Mack, uh, Terry Moore, um, Adam Kubert, list goes on. And then for fine artists or classical artists like Edward Hopper, I absolutely love his artwork. And I'm working a lot more in gouache. And when I approach using gouache or acrylics, I think of how Edward Hopper uh, painted his scenes, which was with a great amount of atmosphere and mood, and then also using more of like a blocky nature to rendering forms and shapes. And a lot of the sketch cards, well, sorry, not a lot of the sketch cards, but like a lot of the recent projects that I've worked on, I've been trying to do a small group of cards that are all in acrylic paints. And when I use those for like mainly doing like scenery or like vehicles and things like that, I'm trying to paint it with kind of like Edward Hopper's stuff in the back of my mind, of like, or even like a group of seven artists, which are the Canadian fine artists of the early 20th century, and they would use a lot of contrast, bold colors, muted colors, and blocky forms and shapes. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Well, personally, I've said this many times. I lack all talent or any bit of talent when it comes to artwork. So it is, it's kind of like you're speaking a foreign language to me. But what I did in the meantime is I pulled up your booth specifically.
oh,
Um,
thanks.
so that way we can I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so we can see a little bit of your artwork. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it unless you have Facebook pulled up, because you're not gonna be able to see it through Skype. But
Yeah,
um, from here, we can see a lot of you've got a whole wide range of stuff on here. It looks like we've got some Star Wars on here, some sports, baseball specifically. Um, looks like Catwoman, something from Kiss here, Walking Dead. I know you said
mm,
that you've done more than just Star Wars. Um, let's see. I'm gonna kind of scroll through some of this. Stranger Things we've got pulled up here. That's a really unique one. I don't know if you have it pulled up, but you've kind of got like somebody, I don't know anything about Stranger Things, but you've got like them, and then from the top, like in the back of their
oh
head,
yeah,
it's like them with like in like a ghost or something. Um,
yeah. That's from the Stranger Things art book from Printed in Blood. I submitted an illustration for that was included in their book, and that was the illustration. And the idea is that Mike, one of the kids, he goes to the Upside Down, which is this kind of like parallel universe. And so Mike is the kid that I drew with his face facing upside down and right side up to kind of illustrate how he went back and forth between the upside down and our world.
okay, cool. We got a couple questions coming in. Kevin West is asking, are you a schooled artist or are you self-taught?
Both, actually. I went to. university, I did a BA and a MA in archaeology. But while I was doing that, I was also taking art classes, figure drawing classes, things like that. And also in my academic studies of archaeology, I was also doing scientific illustration, um, courses on First Nations artwork and traditional lifeways and things like that. So yes and no. Even actually after my MA, I then went out and got I did coursework in graphic design, so I have a certificate in that. But like I didn't go to like an art college or like that. So a lot of it is self-taught with a little bit of taking classes here and there and stuff like that. So
Okay. Self-taught, taking some classes, natural talent, right? Um,
it's like a love for it. Like, you said before that, you don't have, the skills or whatnot in art. And I find that it's a lot of just like loving to do something and then spending the time on it and honing your craft and things like that. Like, I think the ability is within anyone. And it's just about going out and, practicing that no matter where it is, whether it's in the school setting, academic, or at home.
yeah. Maybe one day I'll be able to. It's something that I would love to be able to do. But I know I was always very discouraged in my art classes in school because I was horrible. But Candace is asking, are you from St. Louis? We see it looks like you're wearing a St. Louis hat. I know you're in Canada now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I was born in the States. I was born in St. Genevieve, Missouri, which is right outside of St. Louis. And then I lived in St. Louis as well for a number of years until I was 11 years old. Um, and then moved up to Canada after that. But I still have a lot of family down in St. Louis and across the states. So yeah, yeah, St. Louis Cardinals is my baseball team alongside the Toronto Blue Jays. Um, yeah, I also cheer for St. Louis Blues for hockey and Calgary Flames for hockey. So I have both a U.S. team and a Canadian team. So
hey, that's cool. That's good. The Allison Whitaker is actually saying she's got a few of your Rebel sketches from Galactic Files. Did you happen to, is she hiding out on Sabine's for me, or do you remember what you did for Galactic Files? What did you do, like Hera, Kanan, Ezra?
yeah, I definitely would have done Ahsoka and Sabine because like I have a lot of favorites, but like I said, there's some characters that I gravitate towards. So whenever I have a chance to draw Sabine and Ahsoka, I definitely do. Any of those sets, like Women of Star Wars, I know I did probably three Sabines and three Ahsokas, and every set like that. Yeah, and Kanan, I think actually for that set, that was the series finale of Rebels came out around that time. So I'm pretty sure I did the whole
Mm,
blind thing and the final scenes with all the characters.
yeah, that's cool. I actually just watched Rebels for the first time like a year ago. Um, and I really enjoyed it. So it was so cool to get like new, well, it wasn't new, but it was new to me, like new Star Wars content. That's why I've really enjoyed the new seasons of Clone Wars and The Mandalorian. And that's why I like even, the Last Jedi and Solo and some of the movies that don't get the greatest reviews. I just like anything Star Wars. So but anyways, hey, we're wrapping up on our time here. Before we close this out, did you have anything else you wanted to say? On video?
Um, I'm not sure. If anyone has any questions, feel free to message me or comment on my post. I really appreciate all of you guys putting this on, doing these little videos. And yeah, thanks again for liking my art.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you participating in the event. I think it's been fun so far. I haven't had a chance to keep up on the actual like booths today. So I hope to get a chance to kind of scroll through those, see how everything's going shortly. But yeah, again, appreciate your hard work into the sets that we all love and enjoy. And I hope to be seeing from you or hearing from you soon. Again, for anybody watching now, anybody watching later, again, go make sure to join the event. You can find it in the regular TSWCCT card group. Go to the events tab, click on the event. It's up there. Join it, and make sure to scroll all the way down to the bottom. All the artists have their own booths. All the posts are limited to just their booths, so it's very easy to find them, very easy to sort through. And just scroll to the bottom, check them all out, and certainly try to support some of the artists, if you're able to. Anything that you buy from any of the artists, you're going to be entered in for some giveaways on May 4th. Some pretty cool prizes. So they're all keeping track of, prints, commissions, anything that you buy, just number of items, you get an entry for everything that you get. So again, thanks, Matt, for joining us. And we'll be back here shortly with Seth Gross.
Thanks again.